Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're focusing on a story that should alarm not just educators, but parents, employers, and policymakers across the country. For decades, Americans have measured student learning through the National Assessment of Educational Progress, often called the nation's report card. It's widely considered the gold standard of academic assessment in the U.S. Now, the latest results are in hand. The findings are troubling. High school seniors' reading and math scores have fallen to the lowest levels in decades. This isn't just about test scores. It's about whether today's students are prepared for tomorrow's challenges, whether in college, in the workplace, or in a rapidly changing global economy. The next 20 minutes, we'll walk through the numbers, analyze the causes, hear from experts, and explore possible solutions to what's quickly becoming one of America's most pressing education crises. Let's start with the data. According to the 2024 NAEP assessment, just 35% of high school seniors are reading at or above proficiency. That's the lowest level since NAEP began testing back in 1992. In math, the numbers are even worse. Only 22% of seniors met proficiency benchmarks, the lowest since 2005. That means nearly two-thirds of seniors cannot read or analyze text at a proficient level, and nearly 4 out of 5 are struggling with math. The gaps widen when you look at basic competency. In math, 45% of students scored below basic, meaning they lack even the most fundamental skills expected at the end of high school. In reading, about 32% of seniors scored below basic and able to demonstrate basic comprehension. These aren't just statistics. They paint a picture of an entire generation struggling to master essential skills. And the problem doesn't stop with seniors. Middle schoolers are showing similar struggles. For example, 8th graders recorded a 38% below basic score in science, meaning nearly 4 in 10 are unprepared in core STEM knowledge. The trend is consistent. Across subjects, across grade levels, and across states, scores are sliding down. What is even more worrying is that the declines are broad-based at us, not just one region or one demographic group. It's happening nationwide. So what's driving these numbers? The NAEP report highlights several factors. One major issue is attendance. In 2024, about 31% of high school seniors reported missing 3 or more days of school in a single month. Compare that to just 26% in 2019. Before the pandemic. That might sound small, but when millions of students are regularly missing instructional time, the impact adds up quickly. Second, the declines aren't evenly distributed. Students at the lower end of the achievement spectrum have seen the steepest drops that widens existing inequities in education. Black, Hispanic, and economically disadvantaged students were disproportionately affected. In STEM subjects, girls lost ground faster than boys, reversing gains made in the last decade. The result? A system where the students who most need support are falling even further behind. This creates a cycle that's very difficult to break, because once students fall below grade level, catching up requires intensive intervention. The results have drawn strong reactions from education leaders. Matthew Soldner, the acting commissioner of the National Center for Education Statistics, described the numbers as sobering and urged urgent action. He emphasized that the declines represent more than temporary setbacks. They signal structural issues that demand systemic solutions. Meanwhile, Education Secretary Linda McMahon called the trend devastating. She has argued for shifting more control over funding and policy to the states, saying local leaders are best positioned to respond. But critics worry that reducing federal oversight will make inequities worse. Many Democrats argue for increased federal investment in schools, especially those serving disadvantaged communities. They warn that scaling back federal support will widen the gap between well-resourced schools and underfunded ones. This divide between local control and federal responsibility has long shaped U.S. education policy. And with results this bad, the debate is only intensifying. So why does this matter? If today's students leave school without solid skills in reading, math, and science, they enter adulthood at a disadvantage. They'll struggle in college, vocational training, and eventually in the workforce. This also raises national concerns. A workforce with declining literacy and numeracy puts the U.S. at risk in global competition, particularly against countries that have heavily invested in education and technology. Beyond economics, there's also a civic dimension. A population with weaker literacy and numeracy skills may struggle to fully engage in democracy, whether it's understanding policies, interpreting data, or making informed decisions. Educators and experts are not without ideas. Some of the most common proposals include re-emphasizing phonics and sustained reading practice rather than short digital texts, expanding tutoring programs, especially for students who fell behind during the pandemic, increasing instructional time through extended school days, summer programs, or after-school learning, targeted support for underserved students, ensuring resources go where they're needed most, and importantly, addressing absenteeism with stronger engagement strategies, making school not just mandatory, but meaningful. None of these solutions are quick or easy. They require investment, commitment, and a long-term vision. But without action, the consequences could last for generations. To put it simply, the nation's report card has delivered a failing grade, not for students alone, but for the system as a whole. America's high school seniors are leaving classrooms less prepared than at any time in recent history. And unless this trajectory changes, the effects will ripple through colleges, workplaces, and communities. The numbers may be stark, but they are also a call to action. The real question now is whether policymakers, schools, and communities will respond. That's our deep dive into America's education crisis and the latest NAEP scores. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss our in-depth coverage of stories that truly matter. We want to hear from you. What do you think is the most urgent step to fix U.S. education? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next report.